What's up, man? Uh, Put my hat on. I'm a mess and shit. Um, nah. So doing shit crazy. Unrehearsed. None of that shit. Like, damn. Hold on. Two phones and shit. Let's see. Um, Peace and blessings. Thanks for tuning in to my channel. I just passed the test. I had to take a test and I passed it, man. So I'm excited about that. Oh, my book is out. I just published it. It's you should be able to see it. Paperback version. Hardcover's coming. They processing it, but right now the paperback. It looks like the paperback version you could get first. In a couple days, you could see it right now. You know what I mean? But you'll be able to purchase it in a couple days, like 2 days or something, most. Anyway. I suggest you see that, you cop that, cause it's one for the ages, So I'm winning, man. Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. Shit, man. The real world is the ideas and the imagination that goes on in the head. That's the real world. That's the world where the conscious collective usually likes to cling on. The reveries, they all eat that stuff, They're chained to it. I guess it's because they don't have their own, right? They don't have their own ideas or imagination. So the next best thing is to stick to the one that does and stuff, right? And when that's cut off, when people don't have nothing to cling to, that shit gets disconnected. It's not a good look. That's just the way that I speak. Vocabulary. What's up, everybody? I feel like I'm holding two females. One on my right and left. I've been working out. It's just looking. I'm starting to see it. I think I dropped a couple pounds, but it's a long way to go. Let me show y'all something. Look how I'm walking with y'all. Two different two different stations and shit. That's what I'm talking about. Like I feel like I'm wrapped around, using my imaginations. It's starting to look like that. And the one in the middle is the main one. What's crack-a-lackin', man? Thanks for joining in. Right side. The right side. It's popular, the Republicans are kind of winning. Because it's common sense stuff and shit. But, I think if anything, right, we should start a new party, which already there, but nobody runs it because it's not popular, which is the independent. You got the Democrats, the Republicans, and you got the independents, but they never been popular, so the next best thing was just to, go for Republicans, which now is not a bad thing, but eventually we're gonna, and we don't want those people from the left contaminating that shit, I had this set up, but so yeah, man, my book is out. Check it out. Pre-order. It's a good book because of it, right? There's a lot of people trying to copy. As far as I'm used to this. Where people try to take my ideas and they don't give credit where credit is due. But a reckoning. So I wrote this book, right? And I use a little bit of creativity because I didn't want it to be boring, And now there's people trying to play the character that I wrote in the book. It's like, damn, you couldn't do it before I did that, before I wrote that shit. No, now they want to play the part. Like, for example, the 3 females. Remember, I get that. Celestial, Orion's belt. It's all attached to divinity. But then when you start seeing people trying to, mimic you in some form, trying to cop the notion, like, that's where it came from. It's upsetting, because now I have to eliminate them, A good story, animation story that I saw was about the Monkey King. The Monkey King was fighting this Buddhist. The Buddhist eventually won. The spiritual being, whatever, beat Monkey King. Well, in a way, he kind of just like erased his memories. And he had another goal, but with ignorance, learning from the jump like a baby. But, the spiritual guru won. Because at the end, he was the master teaching the monkey. And people trying to come in. They want to battle. I want to talk. Hold on. I'm live on 2 different stations. Thanks for tuning in. So, yeah, remember, man. There's a lot of thieves, man. Nobody does original stuff, and then they only like to steal from original people, but they don't like to show, pay homage and shit. It's like something, like I said, I've been persecuted all my life. I kind of like expected, but that's something that's gotta like change, because for you to be known as a culture to only being, damn, look at that shit, man. I can't go live. And now the cops are in front of my building. It's getting crazy. So yeah, America, got a history of being a culture of thieves, of culture, I think we are more than just, especially when it's like the white people, right? They're like attributed to being vultures and shit of all cultures. Stealing, robbing your history, and never paying, giving the credits to the original people. I just saw a video the other day that showed the true history of the invention of slavery came from a black man. And all this time, people have been getting mad at the white people for no reason. When it was the black person that invented that shit. And it's things like that, It's like you've been duped, conned of your history. And, something's gonna change. Let me show you what's going on while I'm doing this, right? Fucking cops everywhere. Let's see, do you see? In uniform. Fucking cops, man. That's how you know it's like, these are dangerous words. You gotta watch out for people like me, because I die for mine. I take a bullet and everything. These are my words. They're original. They're authentic. They're real. I can't be fake. I don't know how to be fake. There's levels. I'll start off low, and then medium, and then I'll get high. Wherever I'm at, even my low is not pretty. It's not that censored. It's still gonna tell you what the business. And it's like through gestures, face expression maybe, like you're gonna see what I mean without me saying it. You're just gonna do stuff, and nod or whatever in agreement without any words of exchange. Because that's the kind of entity you're seeing. Powerful. Nothing lightly. Take nothing lightly. Nothing lightly. And going back to my book, right? I'm starting to see characters, like I said, mimic people in the entertainment business, mimicking the characters that I created in my book. And it's all good, just like I said, pay your respects, man. A little thank you goes far, It shows that you believe in Zog. It shows that you're not an atheist. It shows that you're faithful. And, that you're trying to improve. And, been in this shit since 92. Look at all the bullshit I've been through. So-called beef with you know who. My brain is filled with a lot of jingles. Memorable jingles that are attached to high quality lyrics. And these lyrics are like keys to certain doors within the chambers of your soul. Some unlock doors to places never imagined. It just takes a little brevity, courage. A little courage. A willingly body to go through the trenches, the sacrifices, the fire. You have to step on the hot coils and walk down the path barefooted. And then you look for phenomenals and signs from Zog. And Zog has been providing it all along. There's telekinesis. There's people with telepathy. There's psychics, magicians. Phenomenon after phenomenon. With sorcery and magic. Shit, I saw a video of a Chinese or Asian person creating fire from newspaper. Like, he crumbled up some papers and turned it on fire with his bare hand. And then you say, how can Zog be both human and divine? Silly rabbit. Tricks are for kids. The Democrats this is what the Democrats do. They like to raise a baby of fools. Indoctrinate you to ignorance and idiocy. But the generations are becoming wiser. Maybe because of the reels, right? Social media. So they don't got leverage like they used to. The kids are questioning. They're like, wait a minute, that doesn't sound right. Why do I gotta listen to that bullshit? And then the leaders who are demons, right? Who are no better or smarter. These are weak people, who are not athletic or talented in any form or fashion, who were, up until these days, were indoctrinating you to be asleep in a slumber, dazed out of your mind, probably promoting the idea of drugs and, violence and whatnot. People like to steal my words. There's a programmer that started an app called Whatnot because I said that in one of my lyrics. It wasn't used previous to my speaking it, but since I've spoken it, suddenly it's popular. And that goes on and on. I heard something, right? Somebody's reminded me, oh, yeah. So in one of my tracks, right? Recent, I don't remember, but I say something like, did I just say that? I said, did I just say that? Oh, yeah. And I keep writing or saying something. But the fact that I just questioned myself with that, did I just say that? I just saw some other person now. This was a while back I did that, but they titled their song, "Did You Just Say That?" and it's like, it just took me back to when I said that. And it's like, yeah, they digging what I say. That was a member from Wu-Tang Clan, actually. But yeah, man, pay homage, cause there's people out there really writing, taking it serious. They don't play around with this shit. They don't play around with their words, And I think you forget, like, yeah, it's a business, and people gotta make money and entertain people, but this shit is real, man. Like, I don't like to tell you about the personal and sob stories, but just know the shit is real, and you can't run away from the pain by intoxicating yourself with more abuse. Something in you's got to make a switch. It's almost like you got to start acting in a way that you don't recognize, and you no longer are you. They'd be like, somebody's got to come up to you and be like, who are you? Because they can't pin you out. They can't figure you out. And it's because you're finally starting to realize the assignment that you should be doing, which is to maybe stand next to me, but not to follow me. If you really, follow me. The pun. Alright, I'm gonna start getting ready to do my workout. This shit went on and off long enough. So thanks for tuning in. Till next time. Let's build a pyramid in America. That's that. with all of that.